we live then?
Yeah, no. Facebook's on.
YouTube was being fussy, wasn't it?
It was a bit last week, but hopefully stream. We are there. Hello.
Oh. I suppose the greetings at the beginning of the people who watch this later. Greetings everybody who watches it later. This evening we have Ben with us. And, did you say civil engineer?
Civil engineer.
What's the difference between an engineer and a civil engineer?
That sounds like the start of a terrible job.
It does, doesn't it? But I'm genuinely interested. I presume it's not good manners.
Correct.
To
So
do with
civil meaning
towns.
Yeah, in effect. So civil refers to like human inhabited space. So like roads, drainage,
Civilization.
There you have it. I don't have set of knowledge.
But I mean, what other kinds of engineering are there?
Well, somebody works at Subway as a sandwich engineer.
I guess so, but that's also civil, isn't it?
Very
I mean, you can't have Subway
And I
without
do make my own sandwich.
Right.
Sluts.
Yeah, you got a bunch of different engineers, don't you? But I am that specific.
So do you have a specialism within that?
Earthworks, mainly. Big muddy holes moving muck from one bit to a different bit. All terribly interesting stuff. Stabilisation of the ground. I like curves. I like training.
So you like curbs?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a niche, isn't it?
Not to an ecstatic degree. You know, yeah. I appreciate them for what they are.
You've got static about curbs if you like. Nothing wrong with that.
For an hour long down drive. About that.
Yeah. What makes a good curb?
Forming?
Okay. Cool.
I don't know how much meat we can really get. Myself into a conversation.
Yeah. And so early on.
I'm like, how do I be a human?
Be normal. Be normal. Anyway, so you live in town, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I've been in Sherborne for 4 or 5 years now.
I thought it was longer than that for some reason. Anyway. No.
So originally I used to live up towards the library,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of years ago I moved out towards Skippers.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Prefer it over there?
Quieter. You don't hear the bells
Okay.
as often.
It's a thing for you then, not a fan.
It gives me Notre Dame fun. No, it's nice though. It is nice. I moved here from Wolverhampton,
Mm-hmm.
West Midlands, Birmingham, and yeah, it's delightful down here. It's
What did cause the move for like coming down here?
it was a romance, and then I stayed for the people, the area,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I prefer it infinitely than the West Midlands, you know.
And I take it you still got family out there, or
All my family's in the West Midlands.
yeah.
Yeah. Little brother, sister, mom, and grandparents, and my uncle.
Cool.
All still up in the Midlands, and extended cousins, but
You managed to get back up that much.
not as often as I should. Yeah, not as often as I should. Even though it's the 3-hour drive that it is, not as often as I should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you find it tough, like moving away from all of them?
It was hard, but I think healthy. I think it made the time that we did get.
No, that's cool. Are you quite a kind of close-knit family then?
Barely. Yeah, I mean we're an intimately sized family, in that there's not great extended get together.
Cousins once removed, sort of.
Yeah. I mean they exist, but they're not. They're on the periphery.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But no, we're all very close, yeah.
And when you kind of came down, when you moved down, was that to Sherborne, or was there somewhere else in the interim?
It was to Sherborne, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then you fit in straight away.
Tried to.
Still trying.
Yeah. Trying. No, I mean it's always difficult, you know, sort of moving your entire life, which is challenging. But I don't think I've changed it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think this will be where I am forever. But
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
I think it'll be where I am right now.
Yep. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And how was it like? How did you find like getting work when you were down here? Or did you
Okay.
have assignments, comment, or anything?
No. I effectively walked into a job.
Oh, gosh.
The civil engineers are not that. It's not that many, and there's even fewer that are good. And I'll let you know when I get there. But yeah, no, it's a very big open field. So yeah, I've never had a trouble getting work.
And you did sort of civil engineering straight out of school?
I did an apprenticeship.
Okay.
So I went to, I guess you could call it a technical college, because that was what it was actually called. So yeah, a university technical. So there I studied maths, physics, and engineering. And whilst that does sound incredibly intelligent, I failed physics and got a D in maths. And so I then went to an apprenticeship route, which it served me well. It served me well. I trained with an outfit called Rockingham Group for 6 years, doing an apprenticeship, getting, you know, pittance sort of thing while training, and then left those, and yeah, came down here, worked for a little ground worker. Then I've been fitting and bobbing, and now I'm freelancing. That's an great. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
So what is it that most sort of it ticks your boxes with the civil engineering side of things then?
It's I love maths. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I do really like maths. But it's also like the human engagement that you get from being on a project. Because one of my favourite things about life is the diverse cast of characters that you get. Because you can appreciate a construction site is, you know, the construction manager who's looking down his nose at you, and also the labourer who.
He's looking down his nose at you.
Yeah, everybody consistently does it, mate. Different brands of looking down their nose. No, it's so like you have a really interesting cast and a lot of different opinions. Not all the opinions are particularly ones I'd be proud to hold it, but construction is construction. That's as political as I can be about that.
Are you talking about an endemic accepted bigotry?
For sure. For sure. Construction's not great for them. They really fucking isn't. Yeah, really, truly, it's not great.
And so you are on sites most days.
Yeah.
What does the day of a civil engineer?
So, as you know, most roadworks. Will you ever see a bloke who's got like a tripod?
Do you mean field life?
Yes, I do, but maybe about 50 years ago I would have. It's total station, right? So it's all lasers and distance measurement, etc. So I'll get a bit of design from the client or the designer, and it'll be coordinated to something called OS grid. And forgive me, it escapes me what OS stands for. I'm glad to do that.
Ordnance survey?
Yeah, well done.
I'm still enjoying the fact they still use steel lights.
Yeah, it's all the same premise, but they've just got.
Oh yes.
You know, it's just in the same way that a phone's still a phone. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, sorry. I'll get the design information, and I'll use this. We'll call it a field light for the sake of the conversation, and I'll have known reference points to imagine corner of that mantelpiece is known, corner of that mantelpiece is known. If I know how far away I am there, and what angle it is from here to there, and the distance. Using some complex like triangle theory, it'll know where I'm sat, and then relative to that, you'll know where everything else is.
I'm old enough that I'd like to do that. With pen and paper.
Yeah, which is that exact same premise. Yeah.
In fact, they first the definition of the meter comes down to a French guy who figured out that you could do one triangle at a time, and you could basically measure the circumference of the Earth by doing a quarter turn from the equator to the North Pole, effectively. And it was a very long running civil engineering project. And the meter is defined as 1/40,000th of the circumference.
Very good.
Next time we do a pub quiz, you'll come
All with trigonometry.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Just put in there. Josie said, "Hi guys, looking good. Gonna have to watch later on catch up. Gonna have to watch later on catch up though, as I can't stay this evening." Have a good evening, Josie.
We get Josie.
Yeah, we get occasional people to pop up and say stuff. So what scale of jobs do you generally work on then?
It varies, mate, to be honest. I mean, for this one right now, the budget of our work is like 15 million. I think the last one I was on was 45. But then I've worked on like 100 grand ones, which it's all relative.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And so, like, literally every day you're on site?
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever we're putting in the ground, I should reasonably have an input in terms of, the way I describe the engineer is just like suggesting that I'll say, you should put that there, boys. And whether or not you want to listen to me, crack on. Obviously, there is a bit more minutiae to that in terms of like quality control, doing things safely, doing things to spec, and all that kind of carry on. But yeah, in essence, mate, I am just saying, put that there, please.
So in a kind of like, I don't know whether you would even call it a hierarchical structure, it's sort of you saying you should kind
monkeys flinging shit at each other.
So you're on site and you're saying you should put this here.
Yeah.
The builders are going, okay, we'll put this stuff here, and then site foreman signs it off, and then it goes to a quality control person who then just goes, yeah, it's kind of about a metre to the left where you said it was going to be, so you need to knock it down and do it
in
again.
my recent meetings, so that's effectively it, Brian. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I got nothing more engaging to say about the old construction industry.
Trigonometry and pouring things in holes. This civil engineering sounded a lot easier than I thought it was.
It effectively is.
I think the likening it to being a sandwich engineer is probably
Absolutely.
giving away more than
Yeah, if anything, sandwich engineers perhaps a bit more.
Well, in which case then, like going back to a conversation before we went live on this one then, what do you do the majority of the time?
I play the guitar.
Cool.
I paint little goblins and knights and gnomes and such.
Is that a particular brand or it's not? Is it D&D or
legally distinct miniatures? No, just like Warhammer. I like Warhammer.
Okay, cool.
I don't play Warhammer, but I enjoy like the therapeutic nature.
Can you play it?
Yeah.
I thought you just painted things.
No. There's a whole thing about Warhammer where you can.
Goodness.
It's something, isn't it Henry Cavill? He's
Like,
massively into it and actually got quite upset with the reporter when they kind of poo-pooed it. He was like, had a bit of a go at them.
I mean, the game itself is a cool game, but not to real home the stereotype, but you can't really walk into a proper Warhammer show without being a little bit offended by the. Oh dear. But no, I like that.
No, what got you into doing that then?
COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, COVID. I think I bought one of the Start magazines, during COVID, and they always give you your first one cheaply, don't they? Whether it's anything that they want you to get addicted to, the first one is cheap, and then the garage is pretty full of plastic. Gram for gram, I'm pretty sure it's more expensive than most drugs. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm playing the guitar as well. I can read. Reading a very interesting book at the moment.
Oh, go on.
Rains, whose the author's name escapes me. But it's effectively like a modern day retelling of Dante's Inferno. It's terribly engaging. Yeah. About a homeless chap who has died, and he's then sort of running the River Styx. But the River Styx is a sort of fair ride in the middle of a shopping centre.
I've read this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah. Don't spoil it.
No. No, it's really good. You'll enjoy it.
Good. Yeah, no, I am. I mean, last night I couldn't put it down for a good couple hours.
Where are you up to?
Still struggling on the first page. So I think I'm on the bit where he's just first gone into the tunnel and he's in the sort of infinite blackness, and he's found Tunsdale's camp,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that.
Yeah, cool. No, I'm not going to say any more. That's why I asked you, where are you up to? Not, oh, have you got to this bit yet?
Yeah. I needed something a bit easier to read because I was reading The Silmarillion up until recently, which, fuck. So it's a Tolkien book.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tolkien's great, incredible, but half of the back of the book is a glossary on pronunciation of Elvish names, and that's hard work.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
Hey, do you ever find that if you're reading a book and you don't understand the name, you just kind of make up this thing in your head, which is just kind of like so you never actually sort of try and pronounce it.
Yeah.
And throughout the entire book, you don't know what they're called because you just read it.
Yeah,
and
Russian literature. Yeah, I'm not bothering to learn to pronounce that in my head. It's just this sort of picture. It's like a little turns into a pictogram
yeah.
of whatever that person's name is. It may as well be the Prince symbol or something. And
Yeah.
There's a full genealogy A4 pull out in the back of this book, so I had to put it down because I felt like I was gaining a degree in a fake realm, and I didn't have the mental energy for it. So this thing's perfect.
Didn't Tolkien start writing for his son and then creating these massive worlds for them to then have
The Hobbit was a children's
Yeah,
book.
that's it. Yeah.
That's where it started. And it was just one book, quite a short one. But they made that to 3 films. It's absurd.
Less money.
But they did a good job of it. But they had to stick a few extra. In fact, they borrowed some bits from the Silmarillion.
They did.
To that book.
They did.
Yeah, what Tolkien was really doing, which was interesting, is that because we are a mongrel nation, being invaded and sort of crossing over with lots of different cultures all the time, we don't really have our own epics. Beowulf is a recent thing.
You've got like Arthurian legend, but that just gets watered down. Yeah.
And even that was sort of, it wasn't written down properly. There were some stories and things, but it wasn't until Mallory that they got sort of written down properly. So it's a French novelist more than a sort of an oral tradition, legend kind of thing. So he was kind of trying to replace that. He was trying to give us what the Nordic countries had, sort of restore that kind of thing. Yeah, that was his motivation.
That's interesting.
But it's also, a lot of people say it's a metaphor for the Second World War.
Yeah, it's itself, didn't it? Tolkien. Yeah.
But also that whole thing of, the idea that it's all based around a giant war, and the forces of evil, where they come from and how they manifest themselves, and those sorts of things.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Right. And I was joking about the head clamp. I could really use one.
Yeah.
Probably do away with beds.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'll still remain communicative, but I will not look at you.
No, you don't. You don't have to change it. No, it's interesting. People have a head tilt. Usually, there's particular states that. So
Well, that's it.
your head tilts back a bit when you're talking or you're listening. So it's forwards.
Is that right? No. No one's ever.
Why would they?
Like, why would they not do?
So yeah, so I've got to decide whether I'm doing the talking or listening.
I'm terribly conscious of that.
You won't laugh. You can't be conscious of that stuff. So it's too ingrained.
Make sure you get a bulging nervous neck veins.
Yeah, they're already.
What way you go with that, to be honest?
That's where I started.
Ask me a question that'll derail this bizarre tangent.
No, I'm quite enjoying it. So is it like generally fantasy books that you read when you do delve into this sort of thing? Is this like an escapism?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, on the side as well at the minute, I am reading some Albert Camus, which is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the book. I picked it up from that, the little bookshop.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the one for that.
That's Chapter House, is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah, the one right on the corner, the fish and chip shop. And I think that's symbolic of what I do really appreciate about Sherborne. In that everything is this sort of bespoke, little intimate affair, In the same way that, like, I don't go down to Costa, I go down to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to HMP, I go to Costa.
Yep.
Which it lends itself to that sort of really nice, intimate, familiar.
Well, I mean, it's the whole point of what we're sort of trying to get across with the Talking Heads is that it's a community.
Yeah.
And you don't just, when you're going into sort of like visit Paul, for instance, you're not lining some multi-millionaire's pocket with the tuppence that you're putting in to buy a record. You're lining Paul's, which is great.
Paul would disagree because the rarity on when I buy something, I'm not swanning in going, well, you'll never guess what happened this week.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, your point definitely still stands, mate. 100%. Yeah.
Gosh, so let's pick that one apart for a minute. So you stumbled into Paul's. What happened this week? Right, go.
This week for me?
Yeah, what's happened in the past week? It's a story to write home about. You've always got something in Beanshot as well.
I don't think I've got anything engaging from the past week, to be truthful with you, mate. This is literally my most interesting. Thursday, I've got the very exciting, but that's in the future. That's cheating. Let me go for in the previous.
Oh no, we could just sort of like put the plug in there and just go. Yeah, Claire's having an event on Thursday.
And I think she's pretty much sold out, right?
Yes, yeah, we've got about 3-4 tickets left.
Yeah, great.
Other than that, yeah, I think she has. So, yeah.
Me and my partner are coming down, so that'd be nice.
Cool.
Me and the lovely Philippa.
Have you told her how to get onto this?
I've sent her a YouTube link to Paul's one. So, it's an engagement currently.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah. Just not said hello yet.
we'll be down for that on Thursday.
Cool. Is she in town as well?
She will be. But she's in Bournemouth. She lives in Bournemouth.
Okay, cool.
Originally from Guernsey.
Gorgeous.
Truly. Have you been?
No.
Picturesque. Truly. So I think I've been twice, yeah. And to Alderney as well, which is where her mother lives. And it's so in the essence that this is so removed from humanity in the way that, like, we haven't got big cities and we haven't got big towering skyscrapers. That's something else. That's another level of not reclusive, because I think that implies a certain during civilization.
Yep.
But that kind of nice nature, wholesome, fresh air, sea air.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah. I remember I bought a cowboy hat on the beach when we went because I forgot my sunglasses. And like a cheap ass kind of
I think you tickled James.
So
Oh, there's so much to unpack.
Not even close to finish.
No, it's the stuff that I don't think. You know what you meant. It's just.
No, please.
Well, I said, but the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Because I forgot, and I thought you just expected to hear about hat and the sunglasses. There's like
The twist. I guess there was a connection there.
there's a lot of leeway in eye protection. I mean, I made the leap.
Yeah, it was just
Shades. So you just think of sunglasses as eye shades.
yeah, in effect. I mean, I've got the.
Was it a prescription cowboy hat?
It was prescribed by the day if you want to be like that.
I could just have fun with that idea.
No, so I bought it from a shack on the beach.
Right.
And then realised that I don't need a cheap old kind of like carnival fair cowboy hat, so I gave it to a little brother. And he loves it. Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll be down for that on Thursday. What else have I been up to that has been interesting or engaging? It's difficult when people try and ask you what makes.
So yeah, we find it on a Monday morning. I'll say to people, "So what did you get up to over the weekend?" And I genuinely don't know. It's the last 48 hours of my life are a bit of a blur.
Yeah, I don't like that question.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to do work to try and remember things.
You know, seeing as you have a bit of an issue with time anyway, that it's sort of asking you what your weekend was like. It's like, well, when was the weekend?
Yeah, I have to do it. Which day is today? It all sort of blurs together, doesn't it?
Do you do the fire questions at James now? Do you do the Monday live stream so that you know that today is Monday?
Partly, yeah. No, I'm not joking. This is a way of creating structure
Creative marker.
that I otherwise wouldn't have. And that might sound ridiculous, but it really is what's happening.
No, sure, mate. Sure.
And sometimes I confuse myself because I'll do something with the same format. Like I've been doing these little pictures of things from my curiosity table. And so I did one last night and I felt mildly confused like it was Monday. So I did another ball yesterday.
Well, so you're getting into the Christmas spirit.
No, it's just one of the things in my curiosity cabinet. I also did the clockwork mouse.
That was stunning when you showed us the image of that.
I think things to look forward to are plastic water pistol. Lots of interesting little coloured plastics. I think that's really fun. And also kind of a threat of violence along with its jaunty appearance. That I quite enjoyed. Pink iguanodon. May be other flamboyant dinosaurs.
Because we don't know whether like dinosaurs were ever flamboyant or not.
No, we don't know if they had parades. We don't know anything about them really.
Yeah.
And one-armed jet from Gladiators.
Very good.
She'll be making an appearance. There's many more things on the curiosity cabinet, but they're the priority, obviously. It's you can get the important things at first. Okay, we start to settle now. I've taken a rather different approach again with this one.
Got to explain then.
Well, oftentimes I'll get a kind of drawing in first. This is you've been quite nebulous at the moment.
So sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Sorry.
How are you going to define nebulous? Okay.
It's a word. It means what it means.
Of course, yeah.
Like cloudy, vague. Because you're settling it, and you've been good enough to come here without any real preparation of what's going to happen, and suddenly be put on the spot. So there's a natural kind of sort of shifting and adjusting and checking things out, and as a result, that's kind of what I've painted. But you will appear, I think, for at the moment. You see what I mean? So I'm trying to build you using your glasses.
That is how I build my view of the world, so yeah, I'll respect that.
But they're
So So that's actually an interesting one, but I have to take them off to illustrate this. But it might help you build a bit of character on these glasses. They're falling apart, good Christ. So in there was a screw. See that there? Is that a little bit of characteristic yellow? That's the end of an incense stick. So
It's the engineering work.
Yeah.
there's no point me getting a new pair of glasses if I can just mash things in there and it still works. So yeah, instead of getting a new pair of glasses, which I have multiple times considered, but then at the same time I'll just light a new incense stick and just chop off a new thing.
See, that's far more interesting and impressive than an enthusiasm for curves or telling people what holds for them.
Yes, agreed.
That's
Agreed. I think I only do construction for the entertainment that it brings there, to be honest. The talk to some fucking terrible people. Stories that I'd be desperate to recount, but whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, terrible stuff. I mean, one that's semi-engaging, if not a little bit detrimental to one of the lads.
You don't have to mention it. That's fine.
No, okay, so his full name is. So I use a magic stick at work. At the top of said magic stick, there is a prism, a reflective little mirrored surface, to be absolutely clear. Takes the laser in, shoots it right back, you get a distance. Wonderful. So I was walking around, I was doing my job. This was a couple of weeks ago, and one of the lads, he goes, "Oh, dirty Illuminati stuff, mate." I said, "Sorry?" He goes, "The eye in it, it's dirty Illuminati stuff." That's your eye. No, that's not it, right? He goes, "It can't be. Can't be." Very animated about it. See, well, it can't be. I was like, "No, it's a mirror. It's a mirror." You know, a lot of patients were in at this point. And so for the picture, the staff is above my head. So he's walking around. Different distances, different, stretch, up and down. Apologies for the movement. And he's still examining this staff. And he's convinced it's a projection, it's a say it's your eye. Can't be. Could be your eye, and the magic eye will do the same. Right? But he does it. And he goes, "How did it know I was gonna do that?" I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, man, what?" Yeah, I just had to say it's a mirror. And then leave. So yeah.
At one point, I thought you were going to say, so he covered his eyes and said, "Well, I can't see anything." I guess that's the next step, isn't it?
He was understanding enough not to cover both of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to give him credit for that. You got to give him credit for that.
I remember the days of working on construction sites when I was a Thatcher. And
You were a Thatcher?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You do meet some rather interesting
Yeah, sure enough.
individuals.
Yeah, but I will say that I think it builds character.
But at the same point as well, they probably think you're a massive wizard with a Illuminati stick that just turns up to work with it.
I mean,
That's his world, and your world is just going, "No, it's zero."
so we had a couple of steel fixers start today on the job, and there were people that I've worked with in the past. And this chap looks at me, and I'm like, "Oh, no, I recognise you," and he does the same. He goes, "Oh, you're that crazy engineer from Salisbury." I was like, "Okay, I was in Salisbury. I need to be like that."
Don't think up to you.
Yeah. So I mean, early on in construction, so I started actual work on site about 18, and I remember being a bit more performative and being, "Oh, did you see the game last night?" Or I don't. You're seeing football, but what do you think of rugby and all that kind of carry on. Pretending, let's all perform to fit in. But then more and more, as I've become a little bit more accustomed to not only me but also my career, I've just kind of gave up on pretending, and I am just full on.
Right. So, what is full on Ben?
Ah,
I think we're getting a little close to it right now.
I get a little bit, I think.
I'm glad you haven't sort of veiled your personality, so.
no, that's something that I really am working on at the minute. That we, that you have to operate under truth, otherwise you're not. What's the point? What's the point?
Oscar Wilde said, "Always be yourself. Everyone else is taken."
That's Very pointed.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, so I am really striving for that, for just that kind of honest and open expression of whatever the fuck I am. I don't think I know what I am yet.
You're talking about pretending to be a person, aren't you?
Yeah, sure.
I have that same struggle.
Yeah.
There's all these sort of accepted behaviours, aren't there? Well,
To be digestible as a human is to be
yeah.
not.
It's like learning the rules for some crazy card game that, you know,
Yeah, so.
like bridge or something, except even more complicated than that. Who can be bothered?
Isn't it? But yeah, no, I think I'm slowly either forgetting the rules that you're meant to play by, or coming up with my own.
That's cool.
Who's to say?
It's not if you're the only one playing by them. We all want to sort of participate, fit in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
That involves having an idea of how other people work and what conventions they expect. And so that's where the constant effort to be a person
yeah,
comes in. I think there's no way around it.
it stems from like our need to be in the community. Because if you're not in the community, you die of cold, you die of starvation, you're out of the cave, sort of thing, aren't you? You know? I think it was something that I wanted to touch on when you were saying about community in the local area. That yeah, we do have a sense of community, but do we have a real sense of community? And it's something that's interested me for a long time now. The idea of the icon in the so for the longest time in human history, we've had something to look at as people together. You know, whether or not that was the seasons, that was the elements, that was God in its Judeo-Christian sense, or any other God. But now we're so disparate in that, you know, your favourite celebrity is not my favourite celebrity. Your favourite band is not my favourite band. Your favourite football team is not my favourite football team. Your favourite sport is not my favourite sport. And it's all that level of disparate nature that we see, like the death of the icon, and I think the death of true community.
So you reckon that for a community that you need an icon?
You need a sense of
When you say icon,
together, like the idea of a god, the idea of that the icon, capital
Well-
T, capital I.
see, when you say icon, I always think of those Orthodox Christian long thin faces with the halos of various saints that you can hang on a wall and pray to.
Sure.
Right.
Well, that's apt. Yeah.
I think maybe you're talking more about an idol.
I think I'm talking about the icon.
Right. Oh, I've never heard it used in that sense before. It's interesting.
I'm using it and I'm sticking to it.
No, I'm not. I don't mean that as a challenge. I just mean that
No,
I'm trying to get my head around what.
Well, I think the idea of an idol doesn't quite cut it in what I'm trying to, I guess, get across with that
Do you
idea.
mean like a shared worship?
Yeah, but not even worship. More like a goal, an idea that you're striving towards. Maybe that's just because I live on the fringe class of society, but I'm pretty sure like there's not that sense of, you know, yeah, we've got to make sure that we get this harvest in because winter's coming and everyone will be. Am I romanticising a period of time where people were dying of the Black Plague? Maybe. But you appreciate where I'm coming from with that, right?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that that idea of communityship or having a community has been watered down by the fact that there isn't a single goal that everybody strives towards to achieve it.
Absolutely.
And that actually everybody's achieving their own goals. So it's, yes, it's winter and we all need to huddle together and make sure that we're all warm.
Yeah.
But it's in a much lesser extent than it was 100, 200, 300 years ago.
That is effectively what I am getting at. But let's not pretend that it's everything perfect, I guess. Yeah.
But that's the
How do you solve the human condition? What's the answer? No, what is the answer?
I know I've got them all, but they only work for me. You have to do your own.
I'll copy your homework.
No, it won't
No.
work if you do it.
Yeah, no, I think that is that not the goal, to find out what works for you? I guess, and I don't know the answer.
But is there been something that's sort of like triggered a lot of introspective kind of thought along those lines, or is it just something that you've always?
That whole carry on with the icon, I've always thought.
Okay.
But
Don't play it down by calling it a carry.
I just don't know what you mean by it.
something.
I think you've gone straight to a word there which clearly is loaded with meaning for you, but I'm not sure it's sort of. I'm not sure if that meaning is extant in the word. I think you've loaded it yourself
Okay.
because you need a word for this thing you're describing, but actually any word isn't quite going to do it. So you pick that one because it's as good as
I
any
like
other.
that.
So
Yeah.
I think you'll
You'll notice that's a capital T, capital I in the.
Where does that exist as a concept
I don't
outside
think
of your own?
I don't think it does, to be
But
honest.
then how is
Graham,
it?
would you get on the old internet device and see if what I am talking about is a real thing or if I've just fabricated it in a daydream?
No, because Google has been amazing at providing us with answers without actually having debate.
Alright, go on Yahoo.
Well, no. What I mean, what I mean, wasn't meant in any kind of accusatory way.
No, I appreciate
What
that.
I mean is, I think you are best placed than anybody to explain what you mean by it. As in, what are examples
Okay.
of things which are?
Well, okay, alright.
Do you mean as in iconoclasm?
Kind of. But
Something
If
that's
I-
emblematic of a culture that everybody rallies behind.
then yeah, I mean exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Good, you called me out with it.
No, I'm not. Cool. Yeah.
No.
I really don't
Yeah,
know.
no, exactly that. Exactly that.
So what form could that take in a what would tie people back together?
Well, I don't know, because we have so many disparate options for what we can worship, enjoy, look forward to, synonyms for those sentences, that we'll never be able to have that kind of consistent, unless it's such a broad idea as just heat, as just food, as just wind. How do you all rally behind the fucking Jake Paul fight? You know? Maybe I'm
yeah.
topical.
But popular culture has always been facile, a bit empty. You know, that's sort of it's in its nature to be vapid, and most people aren't bothered about it. In fact, it's a very interesting thing if you do look through history, especially at sort of periods of where we think there were leaps forwards in thought. You know, from Enlightenment or any of those sorts of things. It was really just a few people doing it. It's like my parents talked about the 60s. The 60s was a thing that happened between about 1,000 people somewhere near the Portobello Road in London. And now we sort of apply it to everything. And not everybody else was having the 60s. Other people were getting a job, buying a house, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
And then Mick Jagger was being Mick Jagger, and Marianne Faithfull was being Marianne Faithfull. You know, there were a few bits and pieces going on. Most people weren't having the 60s at all. It was sort of it was an idea. And it was an idea that people got behind in a sense, but only in a very small sense. And it wasn't that meaningful in itself. It was meaningful in terms of what it represented, which was something bigger, which came from elsewhere, you know, that sort of collective post-war world. So where are we now? What is it? There's always something joining us together. I don't think it can ever be something we choose.
And what would you say that is now?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think that's the question.
Because I think, you know, I'm younger than you chaps, and I've never had that kind of overarching feeling that we've all got that.
I think we're especially aware of it now. I think there is this thing of like that thing of looking for a small community of people,
Yeah.
having people know who you are. There's this. We've been through this rather strange period of now there's this global communication and the internet, and anybody can be heard, and be part of a group of people who have similar ideas and this, that, and the other. Actually, people don't want that. They don't want to be sat typing into a machine to other people who think the same thing they do.
No, you want to look.
They want to be around people who live in the same place,
Yeah.
who have the same lived experience day to day, even if they process it or interpret it very differently. I think that's sort of more important. And I think human beings have always been that way. I think we need to belong to something.
There's something evolutionary about it, isn't there? That,
Yeah.
you're only going to survive if you've got that sense of community. And it's interesting that we've held on so desperately to that kind of lizard reaction.
There's another really deep thing, and I think I've been thinking quite a lot about the people who put a noisy exhaust on their car and go up and down the road.
Sure.
And what are they doing?
You want to be recognised, you want to be
They want to be seen.
remembered.
They want to be seen. They want to be recognised. That look, it's a real person.
Yeah.
Look, they exist.
Yeah.
That's really, it's like a territorial, a tag or something like that. It's really just the same thing, except now they can do it with the horrible noisy car. Yeah, it's.
But where do you stop with that kind of analysis? Where do things stop being fantasy?
Well, the thing is, I think that's why do they feel that need? I'm not saying anything about the means they choose to address that feeling,
Yeah, sure.
but that feeling is there. That's a feeling that exists. This person feels invisible, and that's a problem to them. Why? Did it always used to be a problem? Was there a time when everybody felt a bit invisible, but that was just what you get? So you just accept it. Of course, no one knows who I am or cares what I think, because
And that should be great.
Yeah. And I don't think we have to go very far back in human history to sort of find times in our collective history where that's how people felt, which is getting back to that thing of the 60s happening somewhere else. My parents' generation didn't feel like it was happening to them. They didn't feel like their experience was important to anyone, and that was the deal. And so there wasn't this complaint, like, what can I do about it? How can I counteract? Why does that make me feel uneasy? Because they didn't have something like the internet and social media and those sorts of things to make them feel inadequate for it.
I hear you on that one.
Because they're in a small community with other people who have also been ignored.
Yeah.
No one cares about what I think either. Oh, right, we can all hang out together.
Which is almost free in a fashion.
And that's, I think, what people have needed. Rather than this battle to be heard for whatever transient opinion you might hung on to that day in order to try and give yourself some reason to exist as
That
well.
interest, yeah. What's your ISP and all that?
What is my ISP?
Individual selling point.
Oh. That's
Actually, USP is what I was doing. Unique. Something.
everyone's correcting me today.
This could be another case of the icon again, boys. I think I'm just. My entire life has been if I said something with enough confidence, then it's got to at least be vaguely true.
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting.
What's going on in your head then, James?
In my head, I am trying to figure out how chins work.
So you mentioned the painting of Warhammer stuff started throughout lockdown. Were there any other kind of vices that you picked up during that same period?
But that's advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Painting Warhammer figures. And to pray.
Some baked breads, were you looking after plants?
I drank too much over COVID.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You and a lot of other people, I think.
Yeah. So I started off being furloughed for a few months. And I mean, as we touched on earlier, like I'm there every day. So being furloughed, you can't really do much. So I mean, I was living with my grandparents at the time, which I didn't even want to entertain the idea of going anywhere. Obviously, my grandpa's asthma, and they were a bit less so now. So it's like it wasn't even worth going anywhere without a doubt. And so I was furloughed for a bit. I think about 2 months. I did just laptop meetings and fill out forms, but I just said to him, just leave it out. Let's not bother doing this song dance. But I still got paid for it. It's great. Yeah. The company went out of business a few years ago. I wonder if that was symptomatic of that.
Your sole payment throughout COVID.
The grand scale of all the folk that were off for that period, like I'm sure. Yeah. Do that with a lot of people. But drinking. And Netflix. I did have a very soulful COVID, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, I think it was depressing as all hell, mate, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me feel guilty about enjoying it.
You enjoy it? Well, yeah.
Well, I didn't enjoy the deadly disease thing. That was not rubbish.
No, that was not a thrill for it.
I wasn't keen on that aspect.
No? Okay. That's shocking. Yeah, you were.
But the lockdown thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bliss.
I enjoyed the second one, but first one.
Yeah. I think the worst thing that could have happened to anyone is what did happen to most people, which is that being furloughed thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, it was a good thing generally, but having everything change like that and being on your own and with no help, it kind of...
Do you reckon that was an indication of what could happen if everybody was given the universal basic income?
I think it would take a time to realise what that would do. This is an interesting conversation, one I've had. My thought about it is that
Do you want me to get my face this way?
no, you can you sort of separately once I've got the general things. In my opinion, we would find out there are an awful lot more effective people with potential than we knew about. But there's no way you could do it without it having a fairly great cost. So the higher rates of tax would have to be so high that it's not entirely sure whether people would.
It's the medical industry as well. If everyone was on basic income, would NHS workers, would people do, engage with people going into A&E, would they still go in? And would you see vast swathes of chaos and then things would calm down and you'd have a wonderful utopia, or would it continue into dishevelled chaos?
No, I think that those people would still go into work because the pay for a lot of people within the NHS is so low anyway.
Sure.
Yet they're still going day after day after day. A difficult one to answer unless it actually happens.
Yeah.
Well, I think the point is it would still have to be rewarding in some way to be able to, you'd have to be on top of that. You couldn't do some kind of Soviet thing where everyone gets the pay the same no matter what job you do. That's not the same thing. It would basically be like a benefit that everybody gets, so it wouldn't be unfair. Which means there'd have to be some threshold at which point you weren't seeing a net benefit. But it means the people trying to get to that threshold would have a lot more help. But then again, maybe we have to admit, maybe the reason this can't happen is because there is still a dynamic economically of certain people being in a kind of indentured servitude, and that's what makes everything work.
Yeah.
And if they go, I don't have to do a crappy job anymore, and then say you'd have to have this whole thing, which is in a sense probably happening. It happened a little bit with the lorry drivers, where people would go, well, if people don't have to do this work, they won't, so we're just going to have to pay them an awful lot more, or they simply won't show up and do it, because why would you?
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting one. So I'd be interested. I know they've done some tests, like they've tried it out, but no seems to have got a reasonable, what do you call it, conclusion.
Well, you don't buy rubbish from adverts if you're happy with life.
I guess so. Do you reckon that's a test of how happy you are?
What, that you're not affected by advertising?
What if you were miserable, but you still be the sort of person who doesn't buy things from adverts? I think I managed to do that. But not buy things from adverts and still be very miserable.
But no, that's the point, isn't it? They're selling escapism, they're selling hope, they're selling change. When you're buying new air fryer, when you're buying new trainers.
You just bought an air fryer.
I'm having one for my birthday.
There you go. It's the first thing that came to your mind. That's why.
Actually, let's rewind. I'm having a hand me down now from my family. Yeah,
When's your birthday then?
it is Friday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, 28.
28
Yeah.
on Friday.
Go on.
It's young, isn't he?
I know. I thought you were 40.
Nice. No. The comedic timing on that was very good.
I won't tell him if you won't.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was uphill both ways.
So what are you doing for your birthday?
He was talking earlier about wanting to paint sorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity there. Not a fat lot, to be honest, mate. We're gonna go out for a meal and then probably do some karaoke after.
Why a day that you really, it's
I
all
love
about you.
karaoke. I love karaoke. Yeah. We've all got our voices.
We do.
I
thought we were going to start with one, to be honest.
Are there regular karaoke venues around here?
I mean, you've got the Brit,
Okay.
but I wouldn't really rush back to there. Bournemouth. I'm going to go to Bournemouth.
Okay, cool.
Is that because you've been there before, and if you go again, they won't have a cheer when you come?
They've got a picture of me up on the wall next to the smashed glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so, yeah, I love a bit of karaoke, mate. Yeah, I love it.
I just wouldn't have pictured that. That's just something that
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
There's something more interesting here. Okay, favourite song from a karaoke?
Yeah, man. Straight away. Yeah. I do get good success by doing the Wurzels. Doing like a terribly offensive impression to you, lovely southern folk.
I can do an offensive impression of the Wurzels. I think the Wurzels, by their nature, are the offence, and anything else is just joining in. It can't be more offensive if you're just joining in.
Well, like I said, they have sort of solidified the stereotype of what a West Country person is.
Which is
just like,
accurate.
we are so not.
I can read and I can write.
Yeah.
Just not at the same time.
You are okay, because coming from Wolverhampton,
Oh,
kind of an easy target.
Yeah, please.
Back.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you can say the stuff without being.
Yeah, we
We
are
keep sounding like you think you're superior. Because
No, with the
Wolverhampton.
with the exact same level of illiterate, but just in the Midlands.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more coal covered.
It's like like a town twinning, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, twinned in ineptitude. Yeah. Wolverhampton wasn't a bad place to grow up, you know. Like it was fine. And that's the start and the end of my recommendation. I mean, like, you know, it's...
So born and bred, grew up there.
Yeah, man.
Same house as you moved around a bit.
I moved around a little bit. So, to begin with, it was just me and my mum. Never met my dad. And then she was with my little sister's dad. They were married for a while, and then stopped. And then we moved up the road. I think we were at number 3 on this road, and then moved up to 97 on that exact same road after we moved, which was not far from the moving lorry to get on.
No. But far enough that you need one.
Very good. So yeah, no, that Wolverhampton, born and bred. Spent a lot of weekends though at a caravan in Wales that my grandparents owned, which I think is where like most of my childhood was spent. Really, you know,
wasn't real, was it?
The caravan.
Mm.
Oh, what wasn't? Oh, sorry. I thought you were questioning the actual
No,
realness of it.
no,
But
real.
You were saying real with a Y. All right, ask me again.
Was it in real?
No.
Oh.
Mark Paul. Near Paris. So yeah, that was gorgeous, and that was like sort of an imaginary sort of existence in a way, because everything was just seconded to this tiny little caravan park. In that there was the story was consistent with everyone else. It was like a member of the family who had a caravan there. The carers of the kid, whether it be the parents, the grandparents, the uncle, whatever, would just bring them there and let them loose with all the other kids. And it was a proper Peter Pan carry-on, in that, you'd be let loose in the forest. And I remember there was a broken down old caravan at the back of this park that everyone used to play in. And as kids would tell stories of now, this is going to sound a little bit evocative, but stories of the black man who lived there, and it wasn't. It was meant as a shadow of man, but now I'm retelling that story. I'm realising that perhaps like slightly wrong nature of the
Well,
phrase.
as a kid, did you ever think of it as a bit
No.
racial term?
No, but
It isn't.
as I'm speaking it out loud, I'm saying there was a black man that lived in a caravan and we were all scared of it. That was. But no, the story was always that there's a dead seal in the bottom of his caravan. The bizarrest little made up story. But yeah, like, proper just exposure to nature. I think that was, which was great. Yeah.
And did you have any other connection to these other people from the caravans other than you were just all there?
Oh, we were just present.
A kind of
Yeah.
melting pot of everybody.
It was like, what else are we going to do? We'll all just be.
And did you all go were you all there at the same time? Was it like school holidays, for instance, that you
Weekends and school holidays, yeah. And it was always consistent that it was like, oh, you're it, oh yeah, you're it, let's go down the park, or let's go. So there was a games room where there was snooker and pool and a Nintendo 64.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now you're talking.
And a SNES as well.
Really?
We all used to play, I think, whichever Sonic let you play split screen. It might have been two. Two might have let you play split screen, but yeah.
I quite said like GoldenEye and Rumble Packs.
Yeah, we had one like there as well. Oh, yeah. Rarely did two controllers work at the same time, because it was like a donated kind of thing. But boy, when they did, they did.
I've been having a chat with a friend of mine and talk about getting an N64 GoldenEye four player, four
I
Rumble
reckon that'd do
Packs.
it well, mate.
Oh mate, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
So
that would
good.
be good. Get honest.
Good. That was my childhood.
Instead of doing that, you could just get like an emulator into the wall, couldn't you? Instead of having like a full-on Nintendo 64.
I would never be the same though, would it? Because you'd know deep down.
I know, you know, he know, but like nobody else. Nobody else. Would you just put a plastic box in front of it, paint it that vague purple? But you could get an emulator, stick it in the wall. You'd have people in there for hours, not buying anything. You'd have people in there for hours.
Actually, that weird purple colour. I reckon that the design of objects and tech and things like that took a massive nosedive when it started going away from that opaque colour.
Oh, for sure.
I think Apple were the first. Were Apple the first ones to do it with the kind of like massive screens where they had the like sort of turquoise plastic.
The original iMac.
Yeah. And then N64 went and did it, and you could kind of vaguely see through and see the cool stuff inside, and then everything went white. Or
boring.
Down there in the corner, it's one of the last beige Apple Macs before they went colourful.
so it is.
It's a G3. People couldn't believe it when I got it. The hard drive, right?
You got PS3 there.
You had no idea. The hard drive was all on one drive. Like 8 gigabytes on one hard drive. It's a bit noisy.
Got a bit hot at times.
You're never going to run out of room on 8 gigabytes. Extraordinary thing.
James, we are at 8:05.
Yes,
How are you going?
I heard the volumes. So, pretty good. I think having a short break is a nice idea.
Excellent.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think I have to do some more mixing anyway. So.
How many people we got on there, Brett?
Let's have a look. 8, 9, I think. Which is actually pretty good.
Well, at any one time, people drop in and out, you see. So.
I imagine we've got a captive audience for a scintillating.
Well, I'm glad you can imagine that. It's close. It's close.
I'm realising now I could have done anything with my notes for this entire performance. Not even a picture.
Mind you, if you meant something more interesting, I might have done like a football. And then you'd have to keep them there. You'd lost the feeling of what you'd
Yeah,
feel.
I've been briefed
I
on
would
that.
not have allowed you to move. You finished getting hair all over that new coat now.
Alright, we all done? 15. Oh. Oh yeah, we've got to have cat count.
You can do it up here, right? There we go. Alright, see you in 5.
Yeah, it's in 5, 10 minutes, something along those lines.
again.
Back again. We're just going to be waiting a little bit for Ben to come back. Doing well so far.
I'm having trouble pinning his face down. It's got a bit of a chin jut.
He does at the moment, doesn't he?
But, yeah, like Morrissey, wasn't
Jimmy.
it? Yeah.
Oh, spatula. It's out.
Just break up some edges. I do for that. I don't want to overdo this. I want it to be sketchy. I want it to be rough.
Well, you've said in the past that your portraits always seem to take on a particular style, and that we had conversations off camera regarding that you wanted to break that.
Well,
not break it, but do
yeah.
it.
I think what it is there's a workable process that you can use again and again, and it will always deliver a picture. And if you look at any kind of career portrait painter, they'll have one of those. You know, there'll be a whole load of portraits which you can tell they just rattle down, and there's a way you know it will work, and so you do that, and hey presto, portrait, everyone's happy. You know, pretty things up a bit, whatever you need to do, and I'm more interested in the investigative nature of trying things out, finding out what that picture wants to be. Yeah, there's something. Yeah, it's tricky. Very interesting. Right. So I've got some colours here already. I think I need to mix some more. It's going to be quite conventional. Quite conventional brush tones and stuff like that. I've done any of the weird greens and what have you. So I think what I might do to reload the palettes a bit. More Viridian. Ooh, cheeky. Yeah, it's a very unnatural colour. Doesn't really exist anywhere. There isn't anything that is that colour, which makes it quite versatile. So we're going to have. Some more blue on that. I can't go for a different blue. Change blue halfway through, which is madness, but there you go. What else? These reds. Just
I picked up on the. You mentioned your grandparents a few times.
Yeah.
So yeah, holidays in caravans, stayed with them throughout lockdown. Big part of your life.
100%. Yeah. I mean, my grand was my dad. Effectively, you know, he's been my consistent father figure, and I think the absolute bother of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, truly, bottom of my heart. Wonderful man. You know, truly, like I think he is what I aspire to be as a man. You know, not like stereotypically masculine by any stretch of any definition. You know, but masculine in all the ways that you should be. You know, like not afraid to show love. Understanding, patient, honest, really good taste in music. Yeah.
Go on.
It's like he's eclectic. I mean, jazz is something that he's very into, and he's exposed me into. But I mean, who am I thinking of? There's he looks a bit like Frank Zappa, but not Frank Zappa. There's, I know it's not really helping. Who am I thinking of?
Not Frank Zappa.
It's not Frank Zappa.
Who isn't Frank Zappa?
Season of the Witch. Who did Season of the Witch?
Donovan? No.
Could you use the machine for this one? I appreciate it with anti the machine at the moment. But,
No, go on.
so the album art of this one is, I think he's standing in front of a shop. He's got his arms up.
Sorry, say the
Season of the Witch.
Let's just come up with Lana Del Rey and don't.
Does she look like Frank Zappa?
Oh, yeah, it is Lana Del Rey. Oh.
Donovan.
Yeah, it must be then.
But 10 points to James.
Well done. Well done. And you know, the like of St James Infirmary as well. That's a track that he exposed me to.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Which version?
God, the artists' names are escaping me at the minute. Not Charles Barkley.
We narrowed it down.
Not Noel. And then we'll work from there then, yeah. Oh, come on, James, get another 10 points.
The Louis Armstrong version.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, that's close enough to Charles Barkley, isn't it? And then there's an instrumental version of that I like, but again, still pressure on me. I don't remember who it is.
It's a very interesting. You familiar with the meaning of the song?
Vaguely, but not really.
Well, the words are. When it gets to, starts off. I went down to old Joe's barring, but
Yeah.
I went down to St James Infirmary, saw my baby there. She was stretched out on a long white table.
Yeah.
And St James Infirmary is in London.
Mm.
So originally it was a folk song that found its way across the Atlantic to America, did its rounds, survived through bluegrass and that kind of thing, and then found its way into jazz. In the Pines is another good example of that. That's In the Pines it actually comes back from an English folk song.
All right. Okay.
And it's about a man who's found out that his favourite cool girl is dead from syphilis,
Oh.
which means he's next. So he's there facing his own mortality
Mm.
and sort of coming to terms with, mourning her death, but at the same time facing up to the sort of the chickens coming home to roost.
Sure enough. Yeah.
And gives it a different.
Different interpretation. I've always liked music that sort of tells a story. Alice's Restaurant is unironically one of my favourite songs. It's like a 10-minute.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah.
And then he just tells a story.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the whole line of like Alice's Restaurant. We'll call it Alice's Restaurant because it's a restaurant owned by Alice. Which is just like, yeah, right, good. It's just this warble. If you haven't heard it, it's just this meandering storytelling for about 10 minutes of just. It's a pointless story about a bloke who just finds a bunch of rubbish and he puts it down at the bottom of a cliff, and they find a letter addressed to the titular character of this song, and he's like, "Yeah, I put that letter at the bottom of that pile of garbage," implying that he hasn't put the garbage. It's great, and I'll often reference one of the lines from it whenever I'm, being tested for something where it's like I've been injected, detected, infected, and rejected. It's good. It's good. You should give it a listen. But yeah, I like a bit of southern music as well, like old cowboy tunes, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. Cowboy shit. And a Christa Berg phase as well. Yeah.
Probably before that.
Yeah.
Did they get you treatment or something? I think you can get.
I had it removed. No, the one thing that really killed
Straight away to butter.
The thing that really killed my Christopher session was he did an interview during COVID, and the man's obviously made inordinate amounts of money from Lady in Bread. And they did an interview during COVID, and he's in his castle estate. Right? And he said, "Well, COVID hasn't really affected me very much." It's like just purely removed from humanity.
Which is as I think how humanity would have it.
Yeah. Oh, come on, he's not bad. He's not bad. He has got some bangers. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. Get on the machine. The machine, I tell you. Get on the machine. So I was unadulteratedly obsessed by Christopher for a while. He's good. I'll die on that one.
Yeah.
Just a big red X across.
Yeah.
Let me try and bring it back. So
I think you know being 29, I don't think you know that.
What's that?
The Harry Enfield sketch. No, it's Fast Show sketch.
Bullshit, yeah.
You brought that wood. Please.
It's a painter.
Johnny Nice Painter.
That's the one.
It was a combination of, I'm sure we mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. The two stereotypes people have of what an artist is, which conflict completely, but no one ever really thinks about it, which is the little old chap with the white beard sat on the hillside with his little watercolours doing a lovely picture of something nice.
Yeah.
Or the tortured artist dealing with the constant angst
Sure.
and intrusive thoughts. And they combined him into one person who would start off sitting on a nice hillside, and then eventually he'd see something that was very dark. And look there, just down there by the church. There's lovely deep shadows there, very bluish, almost black. Yes, I think I'll get the black out. Black. Off he'd go. Oh, well,
He'd be sort of sitting and talking to his wife, and she's sort of going, I'm pretty sure they do a really nice forest gat. Black forest gatter. Go down. Black the darkness.
So yeah, so there is this sort of whole idea about what people think an artist is, which is mildly irritating to me. I like to play on it really, but there you go.
So if I've got homework of listening to some tunes when I get home, then you've got homework to do on the machine of looking at the fast show.
Sure. Yeah. I'll happily.
So
I'll happily be on board with that. Yeah. I do appreciate a lot of old English comedy. 100%. That Python. That's a given. That's a given.
Like the fact that their budgets were so low, they used to just go out onto a field and film, and
Yes.
absolutely bonkers.
I will say I think there's still good British comedy being released now. It's few and far between.
Oh, but the British will always have comedy.
Yeah, certainly.
Because it's the only way to cope. Otherwise, it's just all too depressing.
Hey.
And also that sort of undermining of authority. Comedy is a great way to pomposity and self-importance.
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't. It's an interesting thing with Americans like a winner.
Mm.
You know, they it's a culturally sort of accepted thing to sort of. I think there's an understanding of the underdog thing, obviously, but you know they want a comedian who's confident, who knows what they're doing. They know they're funny. They believe what they're saying, and that doesn't really work here.
No.
I
I think Stephen Fry had a very similar assessment.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard him say. I think he used Animal House as an example. That an American comedian would be John Belushi smashing up the guitar, and a British comedian would be the guy with the guitar.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's the famous scene of the stair.
Mm.
It's weird how time flies, isn't it?
In
Talking about
sense or
how
years.
unreasonably young you are.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
It really meant it's a compliment. I was thinking about me.
Yeah, and
The despair.
withering of youth within you.
Oh God, that's finished withering. That's something else is happening now.
The rest of you is withering.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah, the withering of youth ends, and it's just then your body parts, your back, that creaky knee,
The shoulders,
yeah.
everything gives in.
I always say when you're younger, you can go out, you can do what you want, you can get up at 4 in the morning, go to bed at 4 in the morning, wake up, still do a day's worth of work.
I can't.
I was going to say now, if I sleep with the wrong pillow, I'm done for a week.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, like, mate, I had a couple of glasses of wine the other night, and I was suffering. I was all variety of gastrointestinal celebrations. I tell you.
It's because you're knocking on the door of 30.
Yeah,
now,
right.
So it's that's another decade.
It's that bony rasp against that door that I'm scared of. Yeah.
It's funny actually. For all the joking, actually, I don't really believe that stuff. I don't feel like I've aged at all. I mean, I know I look like I have.
Yeah.
But I'm all right with that.
Good. As long as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
But other than that, I don't think I could handle a proper game of rugby. But
I don't think there was a stage in my life where I could have handled a proper game of rugby anyway.
You're all me.
Yeah.
That's your problem. You're all me.
But there's something about that kind of. It's fun to complain,
Yeah.
but you can get in the mindset and start to believe it. And actually, the whole physical thing of aging. But yeah, I'm probably not as fast as I was and stuff like that. I probably couldn't lift what I used to be able to lift and that kind of thing. But I'm still pretty physically strong.
Sure.
If I've had a 10%, 15, 20% reduction, I could still lift quite heavy things. So it's fine. I could still disco dance when I'm doing the hoovering. It's like, and I imagine, and you see very old people, and they're still managing it.
Yeah, that's it.
They might have a stick, but they're still doing it.
Yeah.
They've still got this physical control.
Yeah.
They're the ones though that haven't stopped doing it. I think that's a big.
And that's
issue.
precisely my point. It's that if you tell yourself that you've entered this realm of decrepitude,
The mind has an infinite impact on the body. Without a doubt, your mentality and the way that you feel about yourself impacts your virility, I guess, in life. Give me something back. Say the whole thing. I'm just going to let that hang.
I went
No worries.
I went to concentration.
No, I figured, but yeah.
I was going
Be engaged.
to go. So your granddad was
yeah.
your father figure
Yes.
growing up.
Yeah.
Music. But what was his background? What was his?
So steel trade.
Okay.
He predominantly sold steel, bought steel, moved steel. But he was director of a little. I think I said little. I mean, I think it was relatively substantial. Sort of steel manufacturing outfit.
Sorry, stuff come out. Yeah, Tata Steel, or it's just a small little. But,
yeah.
no.
No, just like nothing crazy, like nothing crazy at all. But I remember him taking me in one day when I was a kid, and then my recollection of it is foggy as hell. But being in, I think, the stereotypical office, and he didn't smoke at the time, but he used to smoke before I was born, sort of thing. But it was very kind of smoky office, and I'm not even sure if they were smoking, but to appreciate what I mean, it was a very kind of snooker bally kind of office, and that's the memory I've got of it. And I just remember being plonked down, and I think I was given some biscuits or something. So I never really knew breaks about what he did professionally, but yeah, steel trade. Yeah. My grandmother was a switchboard operator for the council, and adorably enough, that's how they met. So he rang up for something on the council, and I don't know exactly which one of them said what, but he sounded a bit nice. Let's go out for dinner, and then fast forward 300 years, and now here we are.
That's wonderful. I love stories like that. That's so
Right.
quaint and yeah.
Let me tell you the cute story about how me and Philip met.
Go on then.
So I was going to a board game club down in Bournemouth for perhaps 6 or 7 months before she turned up. I'd separated from my ex, and I was looking for things to, enrich the soul, sort of thing. And I thought board games would be exactly that. So it was great, really good. But then one day, this gorgeous, tall, pink-haired, how to describe her? Just a beautifully enamouring woman, a vision of beauty on 2 very long legs. And she walked in, and I was instantly kind of engaged. And I like talking, I like being in a position conversational. And we were sat. I was explaining a game. Right, and this game is called Medium. Very interesting game, board game, set of cards, and so we had similar words on the cards. So say mine says red, yours says emergency. On 3, we have the same word that is the medium of those 2 games, those words, sort of thing. So red, emergency. I'd say fire truck, for example. You might say cut, some bollocks like that. And then if you miss that one, you go on to the next where it was like cut and fire truck, and then I would say medical, you get the concept.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was just sort of scanning the table, and then I'd instantly lock back on Philly's eyes. Just instantly lock back. And so things developed further and further over the evening, and we're talking more so. And we head upstairs, and she doesn't drink really, Philly doesn't, and I don't drink moderately. So I said, do you want to drink? Let's go sit upstairs, sort of thing. And we went outside for a cigarette, and she said, I said to her, what are you doing this weekend? Very British. What you doing? What you doing? Be in my life, sort of thing. And that was that kind of desperate, excited energy that I did feel for her. The kind of like, I want you in my life, sort of thing. Evidently, I already feel like I want you in my life, so please, what are you doing this weekend? And she said, I'm free, we can do something, but I want to be clear with you that I've just got out of a relationship, and I'm not looking for something. I hope that's not your intention. And now, of course, I could have said, no, you're right, that's not my intention. I said, oh, that is my intention. That is exactly
Good for you.
what I intended. And we sort of had a little bit of a giggle about that. And so we fast forward a little bit, and I say, do you want me to drop you off for the evening? And this is where Ben's lack of social aptitude kind of sneaks into this story. So I'm dropping her home, and then wisely, she says, you can just drop me around the corner, because we met just on that evening, mate. So just drop me around the corner, and not giving away where she lives. And then for some reason I say the words, oh, don't worry, I'm not a sex attacker. oh, fuck. So she bless her, she laughed that off. She took it in good faith. Really good job, right? Really good job.
As he pushed the knife and the blindfold back.
This isn't even the funniest part of it. Was I accidentally... So I went to unlock the car doors while saying this thing, but it looked like I was going to lock the doors. No recollection, it's a terrible tale. So then fast forward to that weekend, right? So we were talking back and forth, and I remember our first text conversation was that she was confirming that she was moving a previous social arrangement with a friend on that day to a brunch as opposed to a lunch, so we had more time together. And I remember her quote was, guess who's brunching on Saturday? And I said, I don't know, is it 70 to 80% of the Caucasian female population of the UK and Ireland? And she laughed. And then, so we met up on Saturday and took her back here for some charity shop, just general mooching. We had a great old time. I remember we were sat up in Mortimer's, the big sofa, and we're giggling like insane people. The people going past, just having a little bit of a laugh, and generally that kind of sense of elation, of love, like honest, beautiful love. And then, so we're having such a good time. I kept trying to say, do you want to stop here? Do you want to stop here? Do you want to stop here? And she was very clear that the intention was we're just friends. We're just friends at this point. And then we ended up going back to Bournemouth, where we went out for dinner, and we went to it was honestly on paper a terrible date, because we were sat right next to the cutlery station, I guess, in a restaurant, and every 2 minutes, just to look busy, it seemed like the wait staff just jingling the cutlery in our ears. But it was an incredible time together, like to see her laugh and to see her smile in the way that she was maybe beautiful, and I wish I had a wider lexicon to properly describe.
Try that properly.
Hey.
Nothing.
Shut up. You go back to being the pessimistic artist.
That's very sweet.
Thanks. What, me calling you a pessimistic artist? But yeah, no, so the comedy of the story comes back in that we were served by a fellow called Burger Jesus. Right. I don't think it was his Christian name. And he was, well, fucking hell. I remember being so sort of like giddy with the way that we were feeling, that he accidentally said meef instead of beef. And yes, your stoic reaction of, alright, is apt, but we were pissing ourselves at the idea that this man said meef instead of beef. So this guy described himself as Burger Jesus. Please leave me a review. My name's Burger Jesus. Please mention me in the review, sort of thing. Cool. I ended up sleeping on the sofa that night at hers, and obviously my mind's racing. Oh, what could happen? What's going to happen? We just and then we ended up going like weekly shopping together the next day, just like instantly in that sort of space. And we saw that same fucking burger Jesus. So, oh shit! Sorry, I'm forgetting one crucial detail from the story. In that when we went to pay for the meal, there was like a brief moment of like, I ended up paying, but there was that brief kind of, we pay, and the chap says, "Oh, have I made a first date awkward?" And then we sort of laughed, and he went, "Oh no, I get the impression you've been together years." and Philly says, "I've known this man 8 hours," which would have been appropriate. And then we see him the next day doing a week. There was the look on his face of like, fabricate that.
The upset burger Jesus.
yeah. And then the culmination of our feelings actually happened up at the White Hart. After too many bottles of wine starting off in the Plume, moved up to the White Hart, and then we ended up just holding hands at the table. This is probably a week on, or a couple of weeks on after. We ended up holding hands at the table and just giggling at each other. As though like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And being the either pussy or respectful individual that I am, I didn't make a move on her to begin with. So when we went out for a cigarette shortly after our funny little hat holding sort of pounced on me. And yeah. Then I remember Philly Blesser was a little bit too drunk to walk on properly. And now I'm not a tall man by any measure, and she is a tall woman. Come on. So dragging her through the streets of Sherborne, and I'll be perfectly truthful with you, and I do say this as much to her, unceremoniously. And yeah, I mean, from an outward perspective, I definitely feel like someone should have stopped and said, "Don't do that." Don't do that. But yeah, the cliff notes, if you want to take away anything from that story, is I love her. I think she's ace.
You're amazing.
I think she's proper charming, proper funny. Clever in ways that didn't make her clever. Emotional, intelligent, really profound. Yeah.
No, that's really cool.
Thanks for letting me off the floor for that one.
No, absolutely. We pulled the string on your back, we just let it go, so off you went.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. Plenty of other good stories.
Are there any plans for you guys to, like, are you thinking of moving down the border? Is she going to come up here, or is that...
So, here, again, like, here, I'm not set on being forever. The place that Philly owns there in Bournemouth, but it's not a space for two people.
Right.
It's it's a nice space for a single person, but it wouldn't suit us both. It wouldn't give us any kind of space separately. And in the same essence, so she's a marketer. She does social media marketing, which is a real shame that chap's open down there, because I was trying to wheedle my way into you lot, but say hello to yeah, but my point in that is that she needs a lot of sort of, I guess, metropolitan community around her, and this doesn't really offer that in a sense. And I think we'd want to choose somewhere that would be us, as opposed to, my life here or her life
Yeah,
there.
come and join my life, or me coming and joining your life.
There's an inherent sacrifice of both our points there, isn't there?
Yeah.
That, well, to be fair, don't know, mate. You don't know. Doesn't have to be this country.
No,
Yeah. We're very seriously tossing up the idea of doing the whole van adventure life. Because luckily I'm at the point in my career where I could sustainably do 9 months of work and then 3 months of adventure. Which, yeah, I think that would be good, like block release from humanity. Be really...
So have you travelled much in the past?
No.
On your own then?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's one of the big desires of wanting to go and do it.
Yeah, completely.
Anywhere on the list?
Like
what's kind of top?
shot blast. Just, throw a paint gun at the map and then see where to go. I don't know. I'd like to go to Budapest. I'd like to go to Greece. But I think from a kind of wacky ancient history kind of Greek tour.
That's the best reason to go.
Yeah, very much into ancient Greek. Ancient Greek myth. Yeah.
What's your favourite?
Oh, there's too many. There's too many. Probably. I've got a little bit of a reveal, so I'll call people my dear in conversation. My dear Medea. So, and there's a character called Medea. And what people don't realise is that I am referring to them as this character. So Medea, she, you like that one, don't you? Jason's wife, I think it was. She, I think she was betrothed to Dionysus, the god of revel. She didn't want that anymore, and she just sort of left the land of, was it Thebes or somewhere in Greece? She left, and she took a little brother with her, right? And to slow her dad, who was in pursuit behind the boat, she chops up her brother and chucked little bits of him out as he was in pursuit. And ancient Greek tradition dictated that he had to entomb the full body, so he had to stop the boat, pick up a foot, stop the boat, pick up a calf. You know what I mean? So if I ever call you dear, it's not a term of endearment. It's actually I'm calling you a witch.
Yeah. The throwing body parts from a boat.
Yeah.
Although it was a weird thing, they put him back together, didn't they?
Isn't that right?
I think so. Or maybe that's obviously, yeah, it was getting muddled.
Yeah. They're all just nuts.
I just love the origin story, it's my favourite.
Oh.
Of everything. Gaia and Kronos.
Oh yeah.
That whole thing. Because it's big, isn't it? With something like that, I mean, I imagine these stories are chronological. You know, Homo sapiens didn't turn up and go, "Whoa, we're going to need some mythology. Let's start at the beginning." You know, these things naturally gather pace, I guess. But there is this. They end up chronological at the end of it. You're going to put the origin story at the beginning, and that thing of how an early civilization characterized their environment, and given a name and personality to the
to the sky, to the
world,
to the air.
I just find that deeply interesting, because I don't think those things ever leave us. I think that's why they're still compelling stories.
It's because that to personify something, or
but also that apprehension of the world around us. You know, to just sort of wake up and the sun's in the sky. It's another day, and the laws of the universe are ticking along, doing what they do, and we have to try and make sense of ourselves in it. And we do that by telling stories about ourselves. And those stories don't really change. And we're sort of, it's a sort of built-in thing.
One thing I really do like about sort of ancient Greek myth versus sort of like Judeo-Christian myth is that they're all so fallible. I mean, they're all unadulterated pieces of shit.
Yeah. Well,
they're terrible individuals, every single one of them, which is good, because then it's the reflection of the human soul, as opposed to this infallible, unknowable,
monotheistic, outside the cosmos creator.
Stephen Fry's got a good book.
That's
Mythos.
That's it.
Yeah.
Guys, started that on audiobook.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I've got that.
So where did the interest in Greek mythology start?
Stephen Fry book.
Okay.
Yeah. And just the stories are so mental.
Yeah.
Like they truly are just bizarre. I mean, there's one I think where Zeus pretends to be a swan to have sex with a woman,
Leader.
and then he pretends to be a horse to have sex with a woman,
You pretended to be a shower of gold.
Yeah,
To,
I didn't do that one because I felt like it was a bit grotesque. So
I don't think they had those more advanced ideas about what that represents.
Oh, sure. But come on, we know.
They knew what the symbol is,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Well, oh, yeah, there's a woman who ends up being cursed to fall in love with a bull, and she makes herself like a whole full-on bull costume to, you know.
Excellent.
Mate, we picked topic then.
Yeah.
Ask me questions about coffee. Do that.
Why would I do that?
Say, do you like coffee?
Do you like coffee?
Love it.
Yeah, brilliant. That's that done. Amazing. Let's go back to Greek mythology.
Well, I just thought we'd have a normal break and then go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say to you, the sort of interest in it stemmed from Stephen Fry books, but a lot of it stemmed from just long drives. To be honest, like just being on the road to get to work of an hour plus, it just gave you that opportunity to sort of just get really engrossed in something, and that did become very catchy to me. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a generational thing or whatever, but I really struggle with audiobooks.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't have the retention.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think I would do a sort of educational non-fiction book.
Well, it's like I started that audiobook.
Yeah.
Couldn't get on with it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's. I'd much prefer to have that as written form and read it.
I guess you can go back if you've missed something or...
Yeah. No, but my mind wanders quite a lot.
Sure.
And I can't just solely focus on what's going in that. But maybe that is something to do with what I do, because there's I'm constantly listening, watching, hearing 3 conversations at once, and picking up the bits from it, and it's just what I do. And so I'll sit there and try and focus solely on one.
Okay.
It just doesn't go in.
That's it. And I think perhaps that lends itself to what I'm saying, just doing it while I'm driving. I don't think I could sit and just listen to an audiobook. I don't think I'd be capable of that. But it's interesting, isn't it? You can sit and read a book,
Yeah.
but you can listen.
Yeah. Just saying, James, we are at 9 o'clock.
And I am pretty much done.
Ah, there we go. We've got the bombs going off in the background. So I'd normally give you like 5-10 minute warning, don't I? So I apologise for that. Must do better. I can flog myself in the corner.
Is that on the street or is that?
No, I have bundle of birch twigs that
Yeah, it's all set and prepped. It happens every week. So I guess then, if you're sort of nearly finished then, James, are you happy?
what, with the painting or generally?
Well, let's start with the painting. It seems a little bit. The other one seems a little bit more open funnel, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there's something to this.
I haven't actually watched much of this one being done. I just read it.
I have been trying not to look at it as it's been being done, but
It's hard though, isn't it?
yeah, certainly. You figured out how my chin works, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a tricky one.
Yeah.
Susan Trester, that's looking great, James.
Oh, thank you, Sue. Great supporter. Yeah, pretty good.
I think I've been able to pull off that incredible fake. Oh, mate.
You've got quite a Jewish nose.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always thought it was mine.
Which is all the more reason you should play bacon. It's frankly, it's an insulting stereotype of your people.
Oh, very good. Yeah, okay, nice. Pull that right. Very clever.
No, it's a fascinating thing. Some Jewish friends in London who just playing it back with, and there was sort of I never really thought about it before. There are certain visual characteristics which you can discern if you look for them, but I never really thought about it. I was just thought of, you think of Judaism as a religion rather than as a race. I think especially with everything that's going on at the moment, some of those confusions are certainly turning up a fair bit as to whether, because that if you're a British person, and you think of yourself as a British person, you're all these different people.
Sure.
And the idea, well, how much of you is Norman, how much of you is Saxon, how much of you is whoever else, and you go, I haven't got a clue. There's no way of knowing. And there's a certain freedom in that, and at the same time, we must all be a bit Jewish or other things as well.
Oh, we're everything.
And yet, there's all these sorts of groups of people who are absolutely sure about their ethnic identity. You know, I don't think anyone can be, unless your family have lived on the same weird island forever, in which case, not something to shout about in the first place.
And you've managed to sneakily bring us back down to the thing. Very.
That was in no way intentional or in any way successful.
I think you did well. I just wish I hadn't put so fine a program.
What's the others? Do a lot more. Keep the edges. I think. That's bits and pieces. Just break that up. And I think
Just saw myself do a very characteristic flourish of my hand.
It's quite interesting because you are sat here and your head's sort of you're kind of trying to keep your body relatively still. But when you're in the shop, you are not at all. It's quite interesting to sort of see this.
Still.
Well, just you're still doing these sort of like flares, and then remembering I'm sitting for a portrait. I need to.
You can. Wish I could stay still. I know.
Are we there?
Yeah.
Hey.
I think I can do any better now before we get up.
Yeah. Oh. Do we want to go to Canberra now, or we just going to leave? No, let's go.
Sit down here. Oh, so here's where I am.
Hello here.
Well, geez, a little close up. So actually, the eyes are pretty vague. But I did get the shape. You've got your nose in your mouth.
Yeah.
And the hair was fun.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you a lot to go on.
Yeah, because it's more about getting that sense of volume,
Yeah.
which I think is there. And there's this sort of slight tilt to the head.
It's kind of midway between sort of talking and listening, isn't it?
So there's a few things. There's that little flash of light there.
Can I come round now?
Which it does. Which does a job. And that sort of separates from the background. I like the big purple shadow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that back on here. I think and say thanks to everyone who's popped in and joined in.
Yeah, so fingers crossed we will. Well, should we give a portrait a skip next week? Because that means that we've got 4 portraits that are going to be in Bean Shop for the next week. So that's
I was going to say, yeah,
still live.
yeah.
find something from your curiosity table, which would be quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, these are the kind of things I've done. So I'm very open to suggestions. These are the most recent two. I'll pop them up just for anybody who wants to take any interest. There's a
Clockwork mouse.
Clockwork mouse. Red bauble.
Oh, the red ball.
Oh,
Yeah, that's nice.
So yes, so maybe something like that. I quite like the idea of doing individual objects.
Well, how long did those ones take you to do?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, well, we could do cheap.
I don't want anyone to know because I want to charge way too much money for them. I'm going to pretend they took all day.
Yeah, fine.
It's a different approach. You
You're
see.
not paying for your time. You're paying for your time you've learned.
Yes, exactly. But try telling that to anybody else. Yeah. Well, I think I've been quite flattering to you there. I don't flatter on purpose.
Oh,
So no, but I mean that in a way that normally I can be quite brutal.
scary thing.
Well, it's
So
just
I don't like to phone rent.
the truth is more interesting than. But no, it shows that actually you come across as a amenable person.
Okay.
So I've painted you amenable.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Oh well,
Yeah, I don't have any better words for it.
it wasn't too unnerving to sit there and have it done then.
No, far from it.
No, well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us
Hey, thank you
and
for
being
letting me
another talking head.
Yeah.
And
You're putting this up with each other.
This will be up for 4 weeks.
Is it?
Because each of the portraits on the left-hand side as you walk in,
Yeah.
each of the pictures,
Yeah.
stay up for a week, and then James will come in tomorrow with your one.
Yeah.
Everybody will move down one,
Okay, right, yeah.
and one at the end goes in the shredder or whatever. This is
It's going to your house,
it's
isn't
actually
it?
going to my house. The one that it's at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
Graham gets to pick a couple of pictures a year.
To keep.
Yeah, I managed to promise him 2 pictures a year. I felt like doing all of this. It's such a mug.
Pictures.
2 pictures. And he sees how quickly I do them as well. And he just went, yeah, okay, well, I'll do it every week for a year for 4 hours of your labour.
Fair play.
So
No, I'm taking
he must be
this,
planning something.
I think that's ace.
I think once there's enough and the value's gone up, I might,
You claw it back.
I might find out I'd signed something I didn't know about.
Amazing. Right. Anyway, we should be back next week.
Yes.
A little bit